Chapter 563 to 564 Language Arts. Chapter 565 to 566 Return. Bai Chunyu brought Zhang Yi to a room where the temperature was comfortable and the decoration was particularly fashionable. It might not be appropriate to describe it as gorgeous, but it was full of modern style, and the furniture in the room was in cyberpunk style, giving people a sense of vitality. Bai Chunyu said to Zhang Yi, "Wait here for a while. Our captain will come over after he finishes dealing with the matter over there." He clapped his hands, and immediately a waitress came in with a teapot and poured a cup of tea for Zhang Yi. "Thank you," Zhang Yi said politely, picked up the teacup, and took a sip of tea. Bai Chunyu left the room, and Zhang Yi looked at the surrounding layout while waiting for Deng Shentong. There was a large French window outside, with a garden and lake outside the window. At least it should have been in the past. Now it has been frozen. Zhang Yi thought, although it is a big family in Blizzard City with strong financial resources, it is now impossible to implement heating in the entire manor. Money is useless today. The allocation of resources is based on contribution, and even a big family cannot waste it. After all, Zhu Zheng will not agree. Yang Mi. And the room were like a comfortable nest for a rich second-generation young man. There was a soft sofa, a large TV hanging on the wall, and many game cartridges scattered on the carpet. Zhang Yi picked up the remote control on the coffee table and turned on the TV. As expected, it was full of snowflakes. He could play games, but considering that the time was too short, Zhang Yi gave up the idea. Otherwise, it would be better not to play if he didn't have enough fun. The waiting time was not very long. Less than half an hour later, Deng Shentong's voice came from outside the door. "Zhang Yi, you're here?" Zhang Yi glanced at the time. 5:58. "I didn't expect the captain of the Tianjin team to be so punctual." Deng Shentong took off his coat. His slender body was upright and agile, and it seemed that he exercised a lot on weekdays. Zhang Yi looked back at him. "I just got here a while ago." Deng Shentong took out a hair tie from his pocket, tied his long hair into a ponytail, then changed into slippers and came to Zhang Yi's side. Crack. He sat down on the sofa and let out a leisurely breath, as if he had experienced some hard work. Zhang Yi looked at him curiously. The captain gave people a very different feeling today than last time. "Is there a flower on my face?" Deng Shentong asked with a smile, and there was a touch of evil charm on his handsome face. "That's not the case. It's just that you are so handsome that I can't help but look at you a few more times," Zhang Yi replied with a smile. This time, Deng Shentong was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect Zhang Yi to play by the rules so unconventionally. There are not many people who would talk to him in this tone on weekdays. "Ha ha ha ha. You are really interesting." Deng Shentong slapped his thigh. "By the way, I heard that you didn't sign up for the operation to encircle and suppress Neon Eclipse Group. What's your consideration?" A question without reason. Zhang Yi thought for a while and replied with a smile. "There are 13 cities in Jiangnan. Even if the investigation team and Yenyun Guard of Blizzard City do not take action, there are still dozens of forces in the 12 outer cities. One more, or one less is not much. Today, Tianhai City is in ruins. You should have heard that our families are all seriously injured. Now is not the time to start a war." Deng Shentong touched his chin and nodded after listening to Zhang Yi's words. "That makes some sense. But your strength is obviously much higher than other aliens in the outer city. If you go, I think you are more likely to kill the Ronin." A strange light flashed in Zhang Yi's eyes. What did Deng Shentong mean by saying this suddenly? "But I am not alone. I represent a team." Deng Shentong smiled disapprovingly. "Don't go if you don't want to go. I just asked casually. Maybe your choice is better." Deng Shentong knew the inside story, but he couldn't tell Zhang Yi about it. When Zhang Yi heard what he said, his guess in his heart became clearer. Perhaps it was just as he thought. The Eclipse Moon Group in Linhai City was definitely not that easy to deal with. Then, Deng Shentong said, "I won't beat around the bush. I asked you to come here today, and you should know what my purpose is. How about joining my team?" Deng Shentong looked at Zhang Yi with a smile and spread out his right hand to introduce him to the various benefits of joining the God Team. The God Team is the strongest in the entire Jiangnan region. As long as you join us, You can walk sideways in Jiangnan from now on. You can enjoy supreme glory and be respected by others. Of course, to put it in a vulgar way, even if you want women and materials, I can satisfy you. In a word, you can get everything you want from me. Deng Shentong's tone was full of confidence when he said this. He was not painting a rosy picture for Zhang Yi, but he thought that becoming him. As subordinates, these things are easy to get. Of course, they do have such strength. Zhang Yi sighed. You're so amazing. I have seen many outstanding geniuses in my life, but I have never seen someone as rich and talented as you. Zhang Yi's flattery made Deng Shentong very happy. He stretched out his hand and flicked his long hair. So, the world you have seen is too small, but you have the opportunity to follow me and see a wider world. He stretched out his right hand to Zhang Yi. Come on, become a member of my Tianqian team. Zhang Yi's eyes were full of gratitude. This really touched me. Then, after I join the Tianqian team, will it be particularly safe and not in danger of life? Deng Shentong smiled confidently. Of course. I, Deng Shentong, have the ability to protect my team members. Zhang Yi breathed a sigh of relief. If that's the case, then it's easy. I can join the Tianqian team, Zhang Yi said. Deng Shentong showed joy. But the next moment, Zhang Yi said, but I'm quite afraid of death. How about I stay in the city and take charge of your logistics? Deng Shentong's smile froze on his face. Are you kidding me? Zhang Yi blinked. Didn't you say you could guarantee my safety? I think it's safest to stay in Blizzard City. Deng Shentong's eyes twitched fiercely. I want team members who can fight. If you don't go out, what use do I have for you? Zhang Yi explained, I admire your strength and tolerance very much. So if I join the Tianqian team, I will definitely be able to live better than before, right? If you know me, you should know that I stay in the shelter in Tianhai City all day and never leave on my own initiative. Even my ability is mainly defensive. Ability represents the true heart of an alien. My nature is like this. Of course, I won't take the initiative to attack. Chapter 601 Return. Deng Shentong was speechless. He was not a fool, and of course he understood that Zhang Yi was declining his invitation. But Zhang Yi also gave him enough face and expressed it very clearly in his words. He, Zhang Yi, was a genius in defense, and he didn't like to run around outside all day for adventures. It was certainly inappropriate for him to join the investigation team. Deng Shentong looked at Zhang Yi for a few seconds and suddenly laughed. He pointed at Zhang Yi. You are indeed a bit interesting, smooth-talking, and you are so cowardly even though you are very strong. Yes, it is steady. Zhang Yi corrected him. But you are in that ghost place all day. Won't you get bored? Deng Shentong looked at Zhang Yi with interest. People, when they have powerful power, will be eager to find a way to show it. Otherwise, they will always feel dissatisfied in their hearts. Can you endure such a thing as living in a corner for a lifetime? Zhang Yi nodded honestly. Yes. Isn't it good to live? Besides, he is not living in seclusion in the mountains and forests to suffer. The environment at home is so good. He doesn't have to worry about food and clothing, and there are a bunch of beautiful women to accompany him. Life is so comfortable. He must be sick to go out and fight with others. Deng Shentong. Deng Shentong's eyes were a little confused. He couldn't quite understand Zhang Yi's idea. But this is also very normal. After all, the things Zhang Yi wanted, for Deng Shentong, he already had them all when he was born. Deng Shentong pursued becoming a hero, enjoying supreme glory and the excitement of bloody fighting. You? Deng Shentong pointed at Zhang Yi and wanted to say something, but suddenly sighed helplessly. Okay, everyone has their own aspirations. Since you think so, I won't force you, but if you change your mind one day, you can contact me. Of course, it's not that I want you to join my team so much. It's just that I give you such a chance. You'd better come to me as soon as possible, otherwise once I meet a more suitable team member, you can only be a substitute. Zhang Yi laughed in his heart, but said sincerely on his face, Thank you, Captain Deng. I will definitely think about it after I go back. Although Zhang Yi rejected Deng Shentong, he also gave Deng Shentong enough face. Deng Shentong was not angry, but chatted with Zhang Yi for a long time. Although Deng Shentong looked very generous and had the demeanor of a rich second generation, he was quite tight-lipped. It was no problem to talk to him about eating, drinking, and having fun, but when Zhang Yi wanted to get information about Linhai City from him, he just brushed it off lightly. Zhang Yi thought to himself, after all, he is a well-informed person, so don't underestimate him. The two chatted for a while, and their personalities were quite compatible. It was getting dark, so Zhang Yi got up and said goodbye. Wait a minute, I have a little gift for you. Deng Shentong snapped his fingers outside, and a waitress came in with a black box. Zhang Yi looked at the black box. What is this? Deng Shentong smiled and said, Won't you know if you take a look? Zhang Yi nodded, reached out to take it, and felt that it was very heavy in his hand. He opened the box and took a look. In the box, there were densely packed black bullets. Origin bomb. Zhang Yi couldn't help but blurt out, There are at least hundreds of origin bombs in here. According to Luke Heron, the cost of an origin bomb is not less than 100,000. Of course, this is still based on the price level before the end of the world. In today's world, it is more difficult to obtain resources and working conditions are limited. It is not excessive to increase its value tenfold. Deng Shentong gave out 100 origin bombs at once. It can only be said that the rich second generation is the rich second generation. Zhang Yi looked flattered. Captain Deng, how can I be so embarrassed? Your gift is too heavy, I can't accept it. Deng Shentong smiled lightly, waved his hand and said, This kind of thing is nothing to me. But it is very necessary for you, right? Just accept it, it will help you in the future. Seeing this, Zhang Yi no longer refused. Thank you, Captain Deng. If you need Zhang Yi in the future, please let me know. Zhang Yi will do his best. Deng Shentong nodded with satisfaction. Well, let's leave it at that for today. If you come to Blizzard City next time, maybe we will have a chance to meet again. Zhang Yi put the origin bomb into the alien space with his backhand. This method still made Deng Shentong a little tempted. Zhang Yi said goodbye and left the Deng family. Deng Shentong looked at Zhang Yi's back and felt a little regretful. Because that kind of space ability is indeed extremely rare, if he can bring such a person with him, it will make it much easier for him to go on missions in the future. What's more, Zhang Yi's own combat power is not weak. Bai Chunyu walked behind Deng Shentong and asked, Captain, is Zhang Yi willing to join our investigation team? Deng Shentong said lightly, No, he refused. Bai Chunyu was a little surprised. What? He actually refused. You know, many people wouldn't even dream of such an opportunity, but he actually refused it. Deng Shentong's mouth curled up slightly. Maybe this is what's interesting about him. Huh. Man, you succeeded in getting my attention. Then you also gave him a box of origin bullets. Deng Shentong smiled disapprovingly. It's just a box of origin bullets. What's the big deal? As long as they are useful to me, I can accept any price they pay to win them over. Those who are plotting for hegemony should not be stingy with details. Even if Zhang Yi doesn't join my God Squad, today's kindness will make him remember my kindness. Bai Chunyu took a deep breath and saluted him respectfully. Captain is wise. Your wisdom and mind are admirable. Zhang Yi left the Deng family. The driver of the Deng family was waiting outside. When he saw him coming, he asked him to get in the car and sent him back. Zhang Yi couldn't help but have a better impression of the Deng family. Originally, he thought that the young master of such a big family must be arrogant and domineering. Those who obey me will prosper, and those who disobey me will perish. But Deng Shentong's demeanor made him realize that not all second generations of big families are so arrogant and brainless. Even if Zhang Yi did not agree to join the Tianjin team, Deng Shentong did not show any dissatisfaction with him. It's not bad to make friends with such a person, Zhang Yi said secretly in his heart. He got in the car and returned to the apartment. After returning, other people in the team came to ask him how he talked with Deng Shentong. After hearing this, everyone was relieved. Fortunately, Deng Shentong did not embarrass Zhang Yi. Otherwise, friction occurred on the territory of Tianjin City, which would not be a good thing for Zhang Yi. And they couldn't leave Zhang Yi. Zhou Kir asked, "What should we do next? Do you want to go back?" Zhang Yi thought of the group of strange people in Day City, lowered his eyes slightly, and said lightly, "It's time to go back. By the way, prepare a gift for them." Thanks for staying tuned, dear viewers. Please subscribe, which motivates me to upload more videos. Thanks.